As we heard earlier in Kristen's report, we are suffering through a drought here in Louisiana and across much of the South. However, there's one country that is recovering from a drought, and that's having an effect on grain prices right now. Joining us with this week's Bottom Line is Neil Melancon. And Neil, I remember back earlier part of the year we talked about the Black Sea region of Russia, but apparently that area is now beginning to increase its exports. What's going on?
Well, Mike, this time last year, Russia and the Ukraine were in the midst of a severe drought, even worse than the kind we're facing right now, which seriously cut into their grain production. Up until a couple of weeks ago, they thought it would be a repeat of last year as Europe saw a drought for a while there. But Russia has been getting rains, and last week, the Prime Minister Vladimir Putin said that on July 1st, there would be a limited amount of grain for sale from that country. Now, that has had a cooling effect on the grain markets here lately, as they can get feed wheat to China quicker and cheaper than corn from the United States. The news came at a time when the corn market was just starting to heat up again, as we showed you last week, on track to beat even 2008's record prices. However, the bottom line here is that Russia doesn't have enough to feed the world, and it's also pretty early in the growing season. For one, Europe is still dry and could slip back into the drought at any time, and two, the weather here in the U.S. has been less than ideal so far, and even with a strong foreign crop, we're still dependent upon the U.S. production to meet the demands that could be upset with any little weather hiccup. Last week also marked the beginning of hurricane season, so Mike, we've only just begun to watch the weather, so higher prices are still in the forecast.
And certainly, Neil, we will continue to keep an eye on the weather. You're right about hurricane season. Neil Melancon, thanks. And remember, you can listen to any of Neil's reports on the Louisiana Farm Bureau Radio Network. For a list of stations where you can tune in or listen online, you can click on over to our website, twilattv.org, and look for the LFB radio link on the left side of the home page. That does it for this edition of This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. Next week, we'll begin a three-part series looking at the three finalists for the Farm Bureau's Top Young Farmer and Rancher Achievement Award. The Farm Bureau will honor the state's top young farmer at its annual meeting July 7th. And next week, we're going to introduce you to the top 3 young farmers who are vying for the title. Until then, you can watch any of our stories online. Just visit our website, twilattv.org. For all of us here at This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Michael Dana. Thanks so much for joining us this week, everybody. Hope to see you again right here next week.